So, hello, welcome, ladies. My name is Gladys Abaze. I am your personal brand and social media strategist. I'm a mother of two, and I love all things fashion, creative, and yeah, video, photography, all of that good stuff. But the topic today was glean, grieve, or both. And I've been looking at the story of Ruth and Naomi, like them gleaning in the fields, Ruth gleaning in the fields. And I remember I was at church and also like Nikki speaking about Ruth as well, about her gleaning in the fields. And when it comes to gleaning and grieving, sometimes we have to sometimes well, I used to fall into just picking one where I would grieve or I'll be sad, I'll be upset, I would not be myself, I would hide away. Um, and I just want to share with you there are moments in life where you don't just lose something, you lose yourself, dream dies, and the relationship ends, a version of you that is no longer enough. And the choice is either grieve, glean, or do both. And Naomi, she lost her husband and her two sons, and she grieved very, very deeply. And Naomi said, I'm gonna stay with you. Ruth, she chose to stay with Naomi. Um, and then even though it was hard because of loss, sometimes when you lose someone, I've lost my dad, and this was probably like 7 years ago, but it took a lot out of me. And it's only probably 7 years later where I was able to really find myself and just love on myself and heal the parts of me that was broken, or the parts that I just needed God to just like heal my mind, my heart, whatever the case is. Um, and then Ruth, she was gleaning in the fields of Boaz, and not out of comfort, but out of purpose and trust. And that story is just so powerful because her grief became the setup for generational legacy. Ruth, she became the great grandmother of King David. And when you lose something, when you lose someone, when you lose friends, when you lose a job, when you lose something, there's always something else around the corner. Because I've lost friends. There was a time when post baby I lost a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends, but post baby something happened. There was just a shift, and I don't know what it was, but all I knew was I felt neglected. I felt rejected. I was thinking, why? When you have a baby, I was prepared to lose friends because that's how the cycle goes. But I wasn't prepared for this amount of friends to leave my life, and it was a shock to my system, and I felt a lot of grief around that. I felt like I felt unlovable. I felt unworthy. I felt like I wasn't good enough. Like all these seeds of doubt began to come in, and I never used to think in that way, but for some reason I took all of those and thought, God, like, what have you done? I've had babies, which is meant to be a great thing. Why have I lost like so many friends that I thought that would be there? And even if it was just a few that you could just leave me with, all of them have just gone. And grief isn't necessarily a weakness, it's the gateway to wisdom, because I've learned so much. I had to really ask myself, why am I so attached to this friendship breakdown? What is the issue? And for me, identifying that, I realized, oh, like they needed to go in order so that I can become the next version of myself. Even though sometimes when you are becoming the next version of yourself, it's never easy. It is one of the hardest things to choose you, to choose God, and to constantly show up as the highest version of yourself, because it's going to cost you. um it's going to cost you in this season. For those who are wanting to show up online, social media, it's going to cost you. And that is one of the hardest things, to just embrace yourself, to embrace your voice, to embrace your power, your presence, to embrace all the gifts that God has blessed you with. Are you willing to show up? Are you willing to trust the process? Are you willing to show up anyway, even if it hurts? Are you willing to grieve and glean? And glean is about, getting closer to God and doing the work anyway. Really just trusting God, even in the mess, even in the chaos, even in the pain. Are you still willing choose God, to show up and follow your purpose? Are you willing to just step out and just trust that what God has for me is for me, and I'm going to show up regardless? And I don't know, when it comes to relationship hurt, you might have been, I don't know if there's any well, retired people pleasers, retired perfectionists, retired overthinkers. It's time to release that type of negative pattern and just give it over to God and still show up, because the overthinking will always come if you are overthinker. Anxiety will always come if you've constantly had anxiety, but it's about how you respond to it. Um, and you might be thinking, how do I know that I'm still grieving? You might have constant mood swings, sorry, or overreactions. Number two, you might have emotional numbness or shut down. And that was definitely me. I would shut down if I felt emotionally overwhelmed. Number three, which is bitterness, jealousy, um, or anger. And number four, which is avoidance of the truth or correction. And number five, which is isolation, is a sign. When you isolate, sometimes you are using that as an unhealthy coping mechanism. And I encourage you to still show up, because there's something on the other side. And I'll give you another example, like with social media, when it came to showing retired for sure. Oh, sorry, Samantha. I'm just seeing your message. We lost our daughter in 2019. She was 30. Wow. And this is 2nd of August. It's not easy, but grieving from a place of hope. Yes, trusting God and walking in my purpose. That is amazing and powerful. And we are here. We are all here to support each other at the rebuild. If you're not part of the rebuild, whoever connected you, find your way to get inside, because yeah, we are all on our journey to growing, to healing, to becoming. When it's becoming is one of the hardest jobs to ever do. We are so used to, following someone else's blueprint, of, like, working at a job. Don't get me wrong, a job is absolutely great, but when you are called for something more and you are hiding behind your job, you are hiding behind motherhood, you are hiding by all the things that are roles, and you're not following your purpose, you're going to self-destruct, because you're not fully being yourself, you're not fully embracing what God has given you. I'm just looking at my notes. And are you willing to follow God? Because following your purpose is tough, because you have to constantly choose God, you have to choose yourself, and it's easier to choose someone else, it's easier to follow something else that's outside of you. But are you willing to do the work, even if it's hard? And I was just, yeah, it's going to touch on social media. I used to struggle with showing up on social media, especially, like, I think it was in 2023. I was showing up, but it was I wasn't really being myself. I was just showing up so that I can get content out. I was showing up because I knew something was on the inside, and that's how I just started to work. And life will always be happening, and it's how you respond to certain things, because there's certain things that have happened to me where I'm still continuously showing up. I will share that at a later time, but God is constantly moving. And when I mean the glow up has been real, it has been real, from just following the purpose and just following God. And I'm not just saying a physical glow up, because that, yes, that was part of it, but also there's a spiritual glow up, there's a mental glow up, there's a emotional glow up. And that comes when you decide to just step forward day by day, every hour, every minute that you have, step forward, because God's working. And then when you get to a point where you are facing that thing that scares you, because social media actually used to scare me. I was like, I got very anxious around it. And I don't know if anyone relates. I used to get very, very anxious on showing up. And now I'm showing up consistently, I'm showing up with confidence, I'm showing up, even if I'm tired, because I'm a mother of two, and sometimes I don't want to show up. I just want to hide somewhere. But I've learned to just really just push myself and really embrace that, no, I'm on a purpose, I'm on a mission, and it requires you to just step forward. It requires you to embrace what God has blessed you with. Oh, thank you, Samantha. I appreciate you. it requires you to stay focused and glean and grieve. If you are hurting, still show up, because that hurt will slowly shrink. When you focus on the hurt, when you focus on the grieving, more than likely you're not going to focus on gleaning, you're not going to do the work, you're not going to trust God, you're going to be very distant, because God will bless those who move forward. Even if you feel unqualified, God blesses the person that feels that they're unqualified. I can't remember the saying, but God blesses those who are unqualified. And it's about showing up and just trusting that, okay, God's got something in store for me. I don't know what, but I'm gonna show up. I'm just seeing the chats go off. So Suzanne, she said, less than a year ago, my family of five got separated. I had an accident and couldn't walk for 3 months. Wow. Went from being a li- a living carer to being cared for. Ended up in a temporary accommodation. My dog died then 2 weeks ago. I had a mini stroke. Wow, feel like Joe, but God is merciful. He is merciful. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Adina. God qualifies the called. Absolutely. And I just your story is powerful, Suzanne. And can't wait for you to start sharing that, because someone needs to hear this, because this is amazing. And your resilience, like your journey of choosing you, grieving and gleaning, it's going to be hard, but it's about trusting God and just showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up. And I love how the strong you are. And sometimes it's okay to be strong, but also it's okay to be vulnerable. And I just pray, Suzanne, for you, that God just takes you from strength to strength, that He will bless your heart, He will bless your mind, heal anything that might be weak, and turn that into a strength and turn that into a testimony. And when you are in a testing season where God is asking you, are you going to show up? Are you going to trust the process? Are you going to do the work? And if you're not, He'll just leave you in the corner until you're ready to just take that step, to take that stand, and just trust in what He has for you. Um, and just know, when you take each step forward, your gift will make room for you. It will make room for you over and over and over and over again, because I've learned on this journey. I was nowhere to be found come early January last year, until I said, God, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna trust you, and I'm gonna start recording the content, start recording it like messy, start showing up on lives, start doing the work. And as I started doing that, I started to attract people into my life. I started to attract clients into my life. I started to gain confidence, to gain trust, to gain belief back into myself, because I didn't believe in myself before. I didn't think I had what it takes. I thought I was worthy and worthless. But I realized that was a lie from the enemy, and I had to glean and do the work. I was grieving, I was hurting, but I still had to fight. I had to fight the good fight and really just do the work. And over time, um, I used to take breaks off of social media, because more time, if I'm hurting, if something is happening to me, I will shut down and wait till I get to a better place, and then come back at it and go again. Sometimes it's good to pause, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you have to push through and take that grieving with you, that take that loss, that pain with you, and then also do the work. Because as you're doing the work, you're building a muscle to heal. You're building a muscle. It's like flushing out all the negativity. And I'm just seeing, Suzanne, I have tears in my eyes, but I see the fear in my children's eyes. And I've got to turn up for God's kingdom and my grandchildren. That is amazing. And I'm just going to take this moment I think if we all pray for Susan right now, that God is your strength, God is your light, and He will give you all the strength, He will give you all the power, He will give you not tears of sadness, but tears of joy, tears of good health, tears of celebrating all the goodness that is about to come from this moment forth. And I just pray God will continue to give you everything that you need, the support that you need, the love that you need, and you will show up as God has called you to show up. You will no longer hide, you will no longer be in a corner, but it is your time to rise up. It's your time to rise up and build, even if it might be hard, even if it might be tough, but God has got his hand in your life, and it's your time to be blessed, to be blessed in your heart, to be blessed in your mind, and you will have good health, and you'll be able to testify that of God's glory, of God's goodness. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Um, yeah, and I just want to just end on that. I know normally I don't. It's been a while since I've spoken about more heart stuff, in terms of like the heart and just healing. But God just spoke to me to just say, for the person that is. Sorry, that's my son. Okay, 1 second. Hold on. God is just saying, thank you. God is just saying to me that to show up and just trust the process, trust what God has given me, and also trust what God has given you. It's time to show up in a different way, to show up, and even you might be hurting right now, but just give it over back to God, because when you give it over, God will he will turn that thing, he will bless that thing, and you'll be able to be relieved and have a test. He will give you a testimony out of the test of how you respond, because how you respond, God blesses those who move. If you are sitting there thinking, God, please, how am I going to do this? When you sit there and you don't move, God will be thinking, I didn't command you to sit there. I asked you to move. So this is your season to just really just show up and just really just trust the process. And for those in a rebuild, use your accountability partners to the fullest, trust and show up. Your support system, use them to the fullest. This is about this season. Ask for help, delegate, give whatever you are struggling with maybe to someone else, and then focus on whatever it is that you need to do. Follow your purpose, follow your calling, and glean and grieve. Glean and grieve, glean and grieve. That's my move right now. Sometimes life will come at you in multitudes of different ways, but still glean and grieve and show up. If Ruth did, why can't we? Hello. And Samantha said, yes, God blesses those who move, walk by faith in Jesus' name. But I hope that's been a blessing. Oh, actually, before I forget, oh my gosh, let me just share my screen. Tomorrow, go share my screen. Let me just share this with you. Sorry, not this. Actually, this is a testimony because on this retreat, my daughter, she had this was the I Am Woman retreat, and I haven't really shared this out, but you see how God moves when you just trust in him. My daughter was with my mom, and then she had a temperature, and she also ended up having a fit. This has probably been her second fit, and I felt guilty, I felt shame, I felt like, oh my gosh, this isn't it. I don't feel like a great mom. But I just prayed. I just took myself away from everything and everyone and just prayed and just said, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you that she will be okay. And she was. We are grateful, but I still had to keep on moving. I still had to keep on showing up and just trusting the process. Even though it was hard, because I felt like, oh, God, am I meant to be here? But the devil will try to take you out sometimes. And I felt that I couldn't control certain situations. And I know some people might judge and think like, why are you even out? No, no, no. When you follow your purpose, God's got you regardless. God's got you, and he'll protect those that you are responsible for. Even if you're not there, God is everywhere. Um, and then yeah, just in regards to if you're not part of the rebuild, do scan this. I hope you guys can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Yes, I'm still sharing. If you're not part of the rebuild, do join, because it is changing lives financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of the faculties. It is really, really changing life, because it has changed my life. Being surrounded by like-minded women, shout out the rebuilds on here, the rebuild ladies on here. you are making moves, I'm making moves, but this is a place where you can't shrink. That act of playing small, that act of shrinking is no longer, you can't do that here. You have to show up and be present, but also you'll be loved, and it's a fun space because there's a ton of events that happen here. And if you're not part of Come As You Are, if you haven't got your ticket yet, Come As You Are is coming up very, very soon. So do get your ticket. Tomorrow, I'm also running a workshop, so a Canva workshop, where if you are, excuse me, if you are tired of not knowing how to use Canva, if you feel overwhelmed about what stuff you could do on it, I'm going to break it down. So do scan this. It is tomorrow morning at 9:30. And you'll be able to, if you save your space by scanning that QR code, and it will take you to make your payment. And then the third thing, if you're struggling with social media, I've created a course to help women understand what social media is, how to show up online, how to use certain tools to make sure that you stay up, being consistent. So if you are struggling with anything like that, scan this, and it will lead you to my calendar, and you can book a call, and then we can dive in deeper. Any other services, let me know, because I also do video, photography, branding. I'm one of those multi-talented, faceted people. And if you have not got the Gladys cream, the Gladys cream is really, 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 really making moves. Like every time I get someone coming in, or the banter that happens, because some people, I need to probably update this, because I've got four different bottles, and I've got the extra large, which is more the family side. It's the very, very large size. So I'll say, if you don't have yours, get the Gladys cream. It smells lovely. It's good on everyone's skin, especially those who have eczema as well. It's smooth to the skin. So if you haven't got yours, get your Gladys cream. Okay. Let me just come back to the chats and stop sharing. Ooh, 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 ooh. Let me come back here. Where are we? Was it even sharing? Oh dear. Did you guys see my screen? Okay, the Gladys Cream is so sweet. Lovely, lovely. It was sharing. Thank you so much. Let me stop sharing. But yeah, have a lovely, fruitful day, ladies. Show up, glean and grieve. Show up, even if it's one thing that you are scared of today. Do that one thing and share it in the rebuild community if you're in the rebuild. Yes, the QR codes and the courses shared. Oh, amazing. Thank you, and God bless. Have a blessed day, ladies. Take care, everyone. Bye.